While her husband
He's
ignored
coming.
her desperate calls, another man showed up without
Oh God,
hesitation.
he's coming.
Alex Cole didn't save Olivia with money or fame. He saved her by being present when she needed someone. Through heartbreak, healing, and second chances,
Vitals are
this story
unstable.
reminds us
Clear the
that
way,
real love
emergency.
is proven through actions,
Ma'am, we're
not
almost there.
promises.
Just keep breathing.
If you believe true love still exists, don't forget to like, share,
Look,
and
I know you're
subscribe
hurt,
for
but this
more
changes
emotional
everything for
stories.
us. You can't just shut
Thanks
me
for
out.
watching.
It's already over.
Welcome to Empire Love Stories.
Breakfast is
Imagine
served,
being 8 months
everyone.
pregnant with twins and alone in a glass penthouse.
The kids are so
There is
excited.
blood on the floor and pain ripping through your body. You call the man who promised to protect you, but he calls you dramatic. He hangs up to get back to his champagne and his investors. This was the reality for Olivia Parker. But her husband did not know who would show up that night. The man who held her hand and saved her children was his biggest enemy, his billionaire rival. This is a story of betrayal and survival. It is about how one night can burn your life to ashes and how you can build something better. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a chapter of this journey. Rain pounded the floor to ceiling windows of the Seattle penthouse, turning the city lights into golden streaks. Inside, the apartment was way too quiet. Olivia Parker stood in the kitchen, gripping the marble counter with one hand and her heavy belly with the other. She was 32 weeks pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. These babies made the months of morning sickness and swollen ankles feel worth it. Then the pain hit. It was sharp and hot, like a fist squeezing her inside. Her knees buckled. When she looked down, a dark red stain was spreading across her white maternity dress. For a second, her mind just refused to believe it. Then pure terror hit her like a ton of bricks. No, no, no. With shaking fingers, she grabbed her phone and called Ryan. His smiling wedding photo popped up that was from 4 years ago. The phone rang and rang. On the fourth ring, he finally answered. "Liv, what is it?" "I told you I am in a meeting." There it was. That sharp edge in his voice. It made her feel like a problem to be solved, not a person to be loved. "Ryan," she gasped. "Something is wrong. I cannot feel the twins. There is blood everywhere. You need to come home. Please," she begged. In the background, she heard the clinking of glasses and people laughing. It was his big investor party for the Singapore deal. "Take a breath," Ryan said. "We talked about this. You had a scare last month, and it was nothing. The doctor said you are fine." He told her it was just her hormones making her anxious again. Olivia pressed her hand harder against her stomach. There was nothing. No kicks. No movement. The constant flipping of the past few weeks had gone completely silent. "This is different," she whispered. "I am soaking through my dress. I can feel it running down my legs. I am so scared, Ryan." He let out a long sigh, as if she were a massive burden. "I will try to leave early. Just take something for the pain and call your doctor." "I will be home by 9. It is 7:40, Olivia choked out. "I do not think I have until 9. "You are overreacting again," he said, and then he hung up. She stood there in the dead silence. Another wave of pain hit, white hot, and her vision started to go gray. A voice in her head finally spoke up. "He is not coming. He never comes. Call 911. Her hands were slippery on the screen, but she dialed. "I am pregnant," she told the operator. 8 months. "There is so much blood. I cannot feel them moving," she cried. They asked for her address, and she gave it. The luxury building downtown. The one that always impressed people at dinner parties. It was a symbol of the perfect life she was supposed to be grateful for. "Are you alone, Ma M?" "Yes," she whispered. "Can you call your husband or a family member?" A broken sound escaped her, half a laugh and half a sob. "I have been calling my husband all day. He is busy." "Stay on the line," the operator said gently. "The ambulance is 3 minutes away. Try to sit down." She tried, but her legs gave out. She hit the marble floor hard, and her phone skidded away. "Please," she whispered. "Please be okay. Don't leave me." For one heartbeat, she felt a weak flutter, like a tiny ghost of a movement. Then, nothing. Her last thought, before the gray closed in, was that she should have left him months ago. Being busy just meant he was choosing something else over her. She had been begging for scraps and calling it love. Sirens screamed somewhere below, getting louder and louder, and then everything went dark. The paramedics found her unconscious in a pool of her own blood. "Female, late 20s, 32 weeks pregnant with twins," the medic shouted. "Heavy bleeding. Her blood pressure is 80/50. She is in shock." They moved fast. They started an intravenous line, put on an oxygen mask, and lifted her onto the gurney. Sarah the medic scanned the room. The designer furniture, the city view, and the wedding photos. In one, Olivia was laughing in a lace dress, holding Ryan Parker's hand. He was the golden boy of the tech world, the CEO of Parker Pharma. The media adored him. But the woman bleeding on the floor looked nothing like that happy bride. In the back of the ambulance, Olivia's eyes fluttered. "My babies," she whispered through the mask. "Are they alive?" Sarah quickly checked the portable monitor for any sign of life. 2 tiny heartbeats flickered on the screen. They were fast and weak, but they were there. "They are fighting," Sarah said. "You are a fighter, too. We are getting you to St. Mary's. They will take good care of you. Call Ryan," Olivia breathed out. "My husband. His number is in my phone." Sarah found it and dialed, putting it on speaker. It rang 4 times. "Parker," a voice said, sounding very annoyed. Music and loud voices were in the background. "I told you I would call you back, Liv." "Mr. Parker, this is emergency services," Sarah cut in. "We are taking your wife to the hospital with a suspected placental abruption. This is life-threatening for her and the twins. You need to meet us there immediately." There was a long pause. A burst of laughter spilled out from his party. "How serious is this exactly?" he asked. Sarah's jaw clenched tight. "Your wife is hemorrhaging," she said flatly. "The babies are in distress. She could die. This is as serious as it possibly gets." "Right," he said. "Okay, I will try to get there as soon as I can. Sir, this is not a try situation." But the line just clicked dead. Sarah and Olivia locked eyes. The medic did not have to say a word. Olivia saw it all. He really did just say he would try. Tears leaked from the corners of Olivia's eyes as the city lights flashed past. At that same moment, in a ballroom across town, Alexander Cole was finishing a speech. He talked about how his company was committed to protecting the quality of life. The crowd applauded as the cameras flashed. Alex stepped away from the podium, already thinking about his next meeting and his next fight. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He looked at the screen and frowned. It was Megan. His sister never called during one of his big events unless something was very, very wrong. He answered quickly. "Meg? I am in the middle of something." "I need you at St. Mary's," Dr. Megan Cole said. "Right now." He straightened up. "What happened?" "There is an emergency. A woman with twins has a massive abruption. We are taking her to surgery." "Okay, but why do you need me? I do not deliver babies." Megan paused for a second. Her name is Olivia Parker, she said. Ryan Parker's wife. Alex felt the blood in his veins turn cold. Ryan was his sworn enemy. 2 years ago, Parker had sued him with a pack of lies. Now, his rival's wife was fighting for her life. The judge threw the case out, scolding Parker Pharma for wasting the court's time. But Ryan just smiled for the reporters, all charm, saying, "You take a shot." This one missed. No hard feelings. Alex definitely had hard feelings. Next came an anonymous tip questioning his clinical ethics. It meant another investigation, another round of legal fees, and more damage to his company's stock. Ryan Parker played dirty. But his sister Megan's next words cut through his rage. "The baby's heart rates are dropping," she said. "She has been calling him for hours. He is not here." Then she added, "Alex, she might die alone." In that instant, the ballroom around him disappeared. He was 14 years old again, in a Boston hospital hallway, staring through a small window as a nurse pulled a sheet over his mother's body. Stage 4 cancer. His father had visited only twice in 8 months, too busy saving the company to sit with his dying wife. When she died, she had been utterly alone. And Alex had sworn he would never, ever become his father. "I am on my way," he said, already moving. He handed off his champagne, made his apologies to the stunned donors, shrugged off his tuxedo jacket, and stepped out into the rain. The operating room was cold, bright, and buzzing with a frantic energy. Olivia drifted in and out of focus as they wheeled her in, aware of voices, lights, and someone squeezing her hand. A voice cut through the fog. "Olivia, I am Dr. Megan Cole. We have to get your babies out right now. You are bleeding too much, do you understand?" "Yes," she whispered. "Is Ryan here?" Megan's jaw tightened. "Not yet," she said. "But I am here. I will not leave you." As the mask descended over her face, Olivia had one final, perfectly clear thought. You cannot apologize your way into being loved. You cannot make yourself small enough to fit into someone else's life. Alexander paced the waiting room in his tuxedo pants and open dress shirt, his hands shoved into his pockets. For years, he had imagined all the ways he would one day ruin Ryan Parker. None of those daydreams ever involved sittings in a hospital, waiting for news about that man's wife. A silent news report played on the wall-mounted television, but no one was watching. Then Megan appeared, her scrubs stained, her hair tucked under a surgical cap. He crossed the room in 3 long strides. "Well?" he asked. "The twins are alive," she said. "Both are premature, but they are fighters. They are in the neonatal intensive care unit. A girl and a boy. And her? She lost a lot of blood," Megan said softly. "A complete placental abruption. If she had waited another 20 minutes, we would be having a very different conversation." The tight knot in his chest loosened just a bit. For now, she is stable. She is in recovery. It will take time. "Where is Parker?" Alex asked. Megan's eyes flashed with anger. "Not here," she snapped. "We called him 3 times during the surgery, and every time it went straight to his voicemail." Alex took out his phone. 2 years ago, Ryan had given him a business card and sneered, "Call me whenever you are ready to settle." It was a taunt. Tonight, Alex finally used that number. The phone picked up on the 3rd ring. "Alex," Ryan's voice was slightly slurred. "It is a little late for business, is it not? Your wife nearly died tonight," Alex said. There was silence, but he could hear a party raging in the background. "What are you talking about?" "She had a placental abruption," Alex said. "An emergency C-section. Your children are in the neonatal unit. She is in recovery. At St. Mary's." This time the pause was longer. Alex waited, expecting shock or panic or the sound of a man running for the door. Instead, Ryan asked, "How do you even know that?" Why are you involved in this? Because I am here, Alex snapped. Someone had to be. She called you 4 times while she was bleeding out on your bathroom floor. You told her she was overreacting and then went back to your party. I was in a very important meeting, Ryan argued. You have no idea what is going on in my marriage. You are just trying to use this. Room 518 recovery, Alex said coldly. In case you decide you want to meet your children. He hung up the phone before he could say something he would truly regret. Megan stood there with her arms crossed. Feel any better? No, Alex admitted. Because now I know exactly what kind of man he really is. So what are you going to do about it? He looked toward the closed door of the recovery room. I am going to make sure she does not wake up alone. Olivia felt like she was rising from the bottom of a deep ocean. The first thing she felt was a heavy blanket on her legs. The second was a deep emptiness. Her hands shot stomach first and found it flat, bandaged, and hollow. Easy now, a calm voice said. It is all okay. Her throat was raw, her voice just a whisper. My babies, she rasped. Where are my babies? A nurse came to her bedside. Her name tag said Jenna Morales. They are in the neonatal intensive care unit, Jenna said with a gentle smile. They are a little early but very strong. A girl and a boy. And they are doing great for 32 weeks. Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes. Can I see them? As soon as you are a little more stable, of course. How long was I out? About an hour since you left the operating room, Jenna said. The surgery went perfectly. Dr. Cole is an amazing surgeon. The next question was a reflex, one learned from 4 years of marriage. Where is Ryan? Jenna's smile flickered for just a moment. It was so small that a person who was not so desperate would have missed it completely. I will check on that for you, she said. But you do have a visitor. He has been here since you came out of surgery. Are you feeling up to seeing him? Olivia blinked. My mother. My sister? Not family, Jenna replied. But he seems to care a great deal. She then stepped aside. A tall man was standing in the doorway. He was in his early 40s with dark hair and a bow tie hanging loose around his neck. She recognized that face. Every business magazine in the country recognized that face. You are. Her mind was still fuzzy, trying to find a name through the fog of exhaustion. Alexander Cole. Alex, he said, stepping into the room and suddenly looking a bit shy. Hi. What are you doing here? Olivia asked, completely baffled. You do not even know who I am. No, he said, I do not. But my sister was your surgeon. She called me. She told me you were all alone, and I have some personal history with that, so I could not stay away. Personal history, she repeated. Alex pulled a chair closer to her bed. My mother died in a hospital room when I was 14, he said softly. Stage 4 cancer. My father was in Singapore, closing some big deal. My sister and I were at school. By the time they finally called us, she had been gone for hours. Olivia swallowed hard. I am so sorry. I cannot go back in time and sit with her, he went on. But I can sit with you. And I promise you this, you are not crazy for wanting your husband to be here. Her eyes started to burn. Jenna the nurse quietly slipped out, leaving them alone. Olivia just stared at the ceiling, trying to keep her tears from falling. Did you call him? She asked. Alex's jaw tightened. Yes, and he said he would try to get here. Olivia let out a sad, bitter laugh that did not sound like a laugh at all. Of course he did. I am sorry, Alex said. Just 3 simple words. No excuses, no spin, no, but he is under a lot of pressure. He just acknowledged that what happened to her was wrong. And Olivia finally broke. Huge sobs shook her body as hot tears ran into her hair. She cried for the blood on the floor, for her tiny babies in plastic boxes, and for all the times she had apologized for being lonely. Alex did not say, "It will all be okay." He did not tell her to be strong or that she was brave. He just sat there, a quiet and steady presence, while she completely fell apart. 10 minutes later, the door flew open. Ryan Parker walked into the room, his tie loose, his suit perfect. He smelled faintly of expensive cologne and champagne. "Liv," he said, looking right at her. Then his eyes narrowed when he saw Alex in the chair. "What the hell is he doing in here?" Alex stood up slowly, rising to his full height. "I was here," he said simply. Ryan looked back at Olivia. "You look terrible," he said, as if that would help. "Why did you not tell me it was this serious?" "I did," she said. Her voice was soft, but it was also steady. "Several times." "You were panicking again," he said. "You have been doing that this whole pregnancy. I cannot just drop a multi-million-dollar deal every time you think something might be wrong." Even now, after nearly dying, a part of Olivia started to shrink back. But then she stopped herself. "I almost died tonight," she said. "Do not be so dramatic," he said, like it was a reflex. "You had a complication. The doctors took care of it. You are fine. You were not here," Olivia said. Ryan breathed out hard through his nose, like she was a difficult client. "I told you I would try to leave early. I got here as fast as I could. You got here 3 hours after her surgery," Alex said, his voice calm but sharp. "Imagine your wife nearly dying while you are out drinking with rich investors." That was Ryan's reality. But he did not care. "Liv, he is just trying to poison your mind," Ryan snapped, ignoring the surgeon's brother. Olivia looked at her husband. This was the man who promised her the world on a moonlit beach, yet missed their anniversary and the gender reveal for networking. He blamed the flights. He blamed the work. "He did not have to turn me against you," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You did that yourself." Suddenly, Ryan's phone buzzed. He glanced down, and for a split second, his face softened in a way it never did for her. "Before we continue, hit that subscribe button to see how this betrayal ends." Olivia recognized that look. It was the same smile he hid under the covers at 2 in the morning. The same look he had when he would rush out of the room for urgent business calls. Her heart hit the floor. "Who is she?" she asked. Ryan went pale. "What?" The text, Ryan. "The one that actually made you smile. Tell me her name." He shifted, looking everywhere but at her. "Now is not the time for this, Olivia. Tell me the truth," she demanded. She was shocked at how steady she sounded, despite the chaos in her chest. "For once in our marriage, just be honest." The steady beep of the heart monitor filled the room. Alex stayed in the corner, silent, watching the drama unfold. Ryan stared at the hospital tiles. "You are being paranoid," he lied. "It is the medication talking. We can discuss this when you are thinking straight." "Ryan," her voice cut through his excuses. "How long have you been cheating?" The silence stretched. 5 seconds. 6. 6 months, he finally muttered. Olivia closed her eyes, the math stinging like salt in a wound. She had been 1 month pregnant then. "So while I was growing our babies," she said, each word sharp as a razor, "you were in another woman's bed." "It was not like that," he scrambled. We were tense. "All you talked about were doctor visits and nursery colors." I felt pushed out. I needed someone who actually listened to me. Sophie was just easy to talk to. Olivia felt the air leave her lungs. "Sophie? Your assistant?" Ryan's silence was his confession. Her mind flashed to Sophie Blake. 28 years old, always in a perfect dress, iPad in hand, lurking at every corporate gala. Olivia had been kind to her. She had brought her cookies and asked about her family. "Last March," Olivia said, her voice numb. "The conference in Hawaii. You were gone a week. I packed your favorite blue trunks and hid a love note in the pocket. You told me the travel was exhausting and you barely had signal. She was right there with you, was she not? Ryan could not even look her in the eye. Yes, he finally whispered, but it was not serious. Just a stupid mistake. A 6-month mistake, she countered. Ryan, do you love her? He just stood there, jaw clenched tight. I do not know. Do you love me? Of course I do, he replied, but it was too fast, like a reflex rather than a feeling. She waited for a reason, a memory, anything. Nothing. His silence was the loudest thing in the room. The part of her that had spent years making excuses for him finally broke. Get out, she said. Ryan blinked, confused. What? Leave, she repeated, her voice turning to ice. I do not want you near me. You are not thinking straight, he snapped back, trying to regain control. It is just the anesthesia talking. I have never been more certain of anything, she said. Get out now. Be reasonable, Liv. We have a life. We have a business and kids. Kids who will not watch their mother settle for scraps, she interrupted. I will not be that example for them. That's when Alex finally stepped in. She asked you to leave 3 times, he said firmly. You should listen. Ryan turned on him, face red. This is all your fault. You came in here with your stories and poisoned my wife's mind. Your wife almost died tonight while you were out celebrating. Alex snapped back, his own temper flaring. You did this to yourself. She called you 4 times, and you told her to stop being dramatic. You destroyed this marriage perfectly fine without my help. Ryan stepped toward the bed, ignoring Alex. You will regret this, Liv, he warned. You are being emotional. You just had major surgery. I am not leaving my family because you are having a bad day. For the first time, Olivia looked at him and felt nothing. No hope, no anger, just done. The only thing I regret, she said softly, is not leaving you years ago. Ryan looked at her, then at Alex, trying to calculate a way to win. That was his life, running the numbers, finding the angle. But looking at Olivia's cold eyes, he realized he had finally lost the bet. My lawyers will call you, he said stiffly. He turned on his heel and walked out, the door clicking shut with a finality that echoed. Olivia started to shake. It was not fear, though. It was the pure, overwhelming relief of letting him go. Alex sat down beside her. That was incredible, he said softly. I have no clue what I am doing next, she whispered. Welcome to the club, he smiled. None of us do. We just try to be better than we were yesterday. For the next 4 days, the hospital became her sanctuary. She walked the halls in her robe, finally ditching Ryan's old t-shirts. Jenna showed her how to move without hurting her stitches. Every few hours, once she was steady, they wheeled her to the NICU. In that quiet room of beeping lights, she met her tiny miracles. Her daughter, Lily, barely 3 pounds, had dark hair and tiny, determined fists. Her son, Noah, was a little bigger with a button nose and a funny habit of scowling. Jenna joked he was already judging the world. They were covered in wires and tubes inside their plastic cases. But to Olivia, they were absolute perfection. On her first visit, she reached into Lily's incubator. Those impossibly small fingers wrapped around her thumb and squeezed hard. I am not going to let you grow up thinking this is what love looks like, Olivia whispered. I promise. I promise you both. Ryan only showed up twice. The first time, he stayed 10 minutes, took a few pictures for his social media followers, and left for a conference call. The second time, he brought flowers and started a speech about working through things. Olivia told him to leave unless he could say, I am sorry, without a single excuse. He could not. Alex, however, was there every day. He did not hover. He just brought her decent coffee and the occasional forbidden pastry. He sat with her in the NICU, watching the baby sleep, and asked about her life before she became Ryan's shadow. "I used to be a school counselor," she told him one afternoon. She watched Lily's heart monitor as she spoke. "Middle school. I loved those kids. But when Ryan's company took off, I became the supportive CEO wife. I told myself it was just for a while until things settled down. But they never did," Alex guessed. She gave a sad, dry laugh. "No. The more successful he got, the less room there was for me to be anything but his accessory." "And now?" he asked. She looked at her sleeping twins. "Now I want to help women like me. The ones who think being gaslit is just the price of a busy husband. The ones who call for help from the floor while their partner stays at the office." "That sounds like a powerful mission," Alex said. On the fourth morning, Jenna arrived with her discharge papers. "Good news," she smiled. "You are officially cleared to go home today." Olivia's heart skipped, but not with joy. Home. The place filled with memories of lies. Home, where Ryan still had a key and could walk in whenever he wanted. The thought made her breath catch in her throat. Jenna saw the look on her face. "You do not have to go back there," she whispered. "There are shelters, rentals, or friends. I cannot take preemie twins to a shelter," Olivia sighed. "My family is a flight away, and I still cannot sit down without wanting to cry." A soft knock at the door interrupted them. Alex walked in with a bag of sandwiches from the best deli in town. "What is wrong?" he asked, feeling the tension. "She is being discharged," Jenna explained. "And she does not want to go home." Alex set the food down and looked at Olivia. "Then do not go," he said simply. She blinked. "It is not that easy." "I have a guest house on my property in Marin County," he offered. "It is totally private. 3 bedrooms, full kitchen. It has been empty for months. You can stay there as long as you need." She stared at him, stunned. "Alex, I cannot just move into your house. We barely know each other." "You know I answer when it is important," Alex said. "Which is more than I can say for your husband." Olivia felt a sting in her heart. "Almost ex-husband," she corrected. She was a mother alone, fighting for her life, while her husband ignored her. "I'm not asking for anything," he said. "No strings. Just a safe place to land." Olivia worried people would talk, but Alex didn't care. He knew what it was like to be the underdog. Jenna left them alone to check on the twins. "Why help me?" Olivia asked. Alex sighed, looking older than his years. Before we find out if she escapes this trap, please subscribe and join our community for more stories about justice. "I know what it feels like to watch a mother blame herself for a man's cruelty," he said. "My father had so many affairs. Everyone knew. He made my mom feel crazy when she caught him, calling her needy and dramatic." Olivia felt a lump in her throat. It was her own life story. "She died making excuses for him," Alex said. "I can't fix that. But I see the same pattern here. The gaslighting, the blame, the way he made you question your own mind. It's abuse, Olivia. Just because he never laid a finger on you doesn't mean it's not real." That word hung in the air like a heavy fog. Abuse. She had been too afraid to say it. She never thought of herself as a victim of abuse. To her, that meant bruises. It wasn't skipped dinners, unanswered calls, or being told she was overreacting. It certainly wasn't crying in a hospital bed while her husband complained about his schedule. "Okay," she said. "Okay?" Alex asked. "Yes, I'll stay. Just for a while until I can stand on my own." "You're already standing," he replied. "You just don't see it yet." The guest house in Marin County was 2 hours north of San Francisco. It sat on a wooded hillside like a magazine dream. Huge windows looked over the bay, and the living room smelled like fresh cedar. The kitchen was stocked with groceries and tea. A note from Megan read, "Welcome. You are safe here. Call me for anything." Olivia started to cry when she saw the nursery. She hadn't even asked for one. One room was a soft gray haven with 2 cribs and a rocking chair. Tiny clothes were already folded in the drawers. Alex stood awkwardly in the hallway. "My sister insisted," he said. "She told me what babies need. I just moved the boxes." "It's perfect," Olivia whispered. 2 weeks later, Lily and Noah came home. They were bigger now with chubby cheeks. Noah stared at everything with wide eyes, soaking in his new peaceful world. Lily loved curling up on Olivia's chest to hear her heartbeat. Alex was there every single day. He carried the heavy bags and built the complicated baby's swing without a single complaint. He never tried to take over. Instead, he just changed diapers at 3 in the morning when she was too tired to function. He'd rock a crying baby so she could take her first real shower in months. He even listened when she broke down in tears because Lily spit up on her last clean shirt. "You're not weak for needing help," he told her as they sat on the couch with the sleeping twins. "You're just human." Those words were the greatest gift during her darkest hour. "You're a billionaire CEO," she teased. "Don't you have important things to do?" "Honestly, no," he replied. For a few wonderful weeks, Olivia's world was small and perfect. It was just feedings, naps, and walks as her body finally began to heal. She even started an online course to become a trauma counselor, studying whenever the babies slept. In the quiet of the woods, she finally started to feel like herself again. But then the outside world came knocking. It started with white roses at the hospital. The note simply said, "Let's fix this." Then the texts began. "Where are you? You can't just run off with my kids. You're overreacting." Finally, the legal papers arrived. Alex brought in the mail and went still when he saw the return address. "It's from your husband's lawyer," he said. Her hands shook as she tore open the envelope. The words were cold and professional. It was a petition for joint custody. "They want 50-50, Olivia said, feeling a wave of cold dread. "He wants equal time." "No, he wants control," Alex corrected. The very next day, Ryan showed up. He didn't know about the guest house, so he ambushed her at the hospital. It was the twins' follow-up appointment. He was waiting in the lobby with a man in an expensive, dark suit. The battle had officially begun. Ryan stood up as soon as he saw her. "Olivia, we need to talk about custody." The other man stepped forward. "Mrs. Parker, I am Daniel Harris, your husband's attorney." Olivia hugged the baby carrier tighter. Lily was fast asleep in the stroller, unaware of the tension. "You served me papers," she said quietly. "I got the message." "We want to resolve this peacefully," Harris said. "But we are prepared to ask for joint custody and raise questions about your current living situation." "My what?" she asked. "You moved to an unknown address with a man you've only known for a month," Harris said. "That could raise serious concerns about your judgment as a mother." It was a low blow. Olivia felt a surge of hot anger. "You mean the man who sat by my bed while my husband was at a party? That situation and your fitness as a parent are separate legal matters," Harris replied smoothly. "Are they?" a new voice asked. Alex stepped out from behind a row of chairs. He had been sitting there the whole time. He looked calm but dangerous. The lawyer's eyes went wide. "Mr. Cole," he said carefully. "This is between me and my wife," Ryan snapped. "Your wife," Alex said softly, "who almost died because you ignored 4 calls for help." Alex stepped closer, standing between Olivia and the men who were trying to bully her. He wouldn't let them win. Alex looked directly at Harris. "If you move forward, I'll personally fund Olivia's legal team with the best family lawyers in Seattle. We'll subpoena phone records and 911 tapes. We'll prove your client was at a party while his wife was bleeding on the floor." Ryan's face turned bright red. "You're trying to blackmail me?" "No," Alex replied. "I'm explaining the consequences of your actions." Harris adjusted his tie, looking nervous. "These public attacks go both ways, Mr. Cole." "With what?" Alex asked. "Rumors. We have documented proof of abandonment during a medical crisis and a 6-month affair with his assistant." The room went silent as the lawyer realized they were outmatched. "How do you think your board will react to that, Ryan? Or your investors in Singapore?" Ryan opened his mouth, but nothing came out. He looked at Olivia. "You're really going to let him do this to me?" he demanded. "You brought a lawyer to our children's checkup," Olivia said firmly. "You're the one who did this." She felt a new sense of strength rising up. "Here is what is going to happen," she said. "I'll hire my own lawyer. We'll make a custody agreement that is best for Lily and Noah. And I'm done feeling guilty for expecting you to act like a father." She was no longer a victim. She was a mother fighting for her children's future. She turned the stroller toward the door. "Liv," Ryan yelled. "This isn't over." She didn't even look back. "It is for me," she said. 6 months later, Olivia stood outside the courthouse. The scene felt like a movie. She stood at the bottom of the steps, smoothing her dress. The wind whipped her hair as people rushed past. Lawyers with briefcases and nervous couples moved all around her. "Ready?" asked Jennifer Lawson. She was her lawyer, a woman with sharp eyes and a kind smile. "No," Olivia said honestly. "But let's do it anyway." She took a deep breath and walked up the steps toward her new life. She was finally ready to face her truth. Inside the courtroom, it was quiet and formal. Ryan sat at a table in a sharp suit with Sophie by his side. Sophie looked exhausted. It seemed the thrill of dating a CEO had faded once the legal bills started piling up. When Olivia looked at them, she didn't feel angry anymore. She just felt a deep sense of relief that she wasn't the one sitting in Sophie's chair. Jennifer presented their case with perfect clarity. She talked about the medical emergency, the affair with an employee, and how Olivia was the primary caregiver. She pointed out that Ryan's visits were unreliable and rare. Harris still tried to argue for joint custody, but his case was falling apart. The judge was a woman in her 60s, with glasses on her nose. She was not impressed. "Mr. Parker," she said, "the law wants children to have both parents. But only when those parents prove they can be present and safe. You have failed to convince me." Ryan shifted in his seat, looking small. "Based on the evidence," the judge continued, "full physical custody is awarded to the mother. Mr. Parker will get supervised visitation every other Saturday for 4 hours. This may change when the children are 3, but only if he shows up consistently." Olivia closed her eyes and let out a breath she'd been holding for years. She was finally free. Justice had been served. Sometimes the family you choose is the strongest. The judge shuffled through the legal documents. Because of Mr. Parker's affair and his choice to abandon his wife, the court ruled in favor of a 60-40 split in Olivia's favor. His lawyer tried to object, but the judge shut him down instantly. Divorce granted. That final bang of the gavel felt like a massive weight lifting off Olivia's shoulders. She stepped outside into the fresh air, feeling truly free for the first time in years. There was Alex waiting patiently by his car. He had been her silent rock through this whole legal battle, letting her stand on her own 2 feet. This is a story about finding strength when you are at your lowest. If you believe everyone deserves a second chance, please subscribe and hit that like button right now. Alex asked her how she felt. Olivia smiled, realizing she felt lighter than air. It was like dropping a heavy backpack she had carried for way too long. She told him she was exhausted, but finally standing tall. When he asked about her future, she shared her big plan. She had signed up for a degree in family counseling. She wanted to build a nonprofit, a safe haven for women who suffered from emotional abuse rather than physical scars. Alex listened intently before offering his full support. He did not just mean money, either. He wanted to serve on the board and do whatever it took to make her dream a reality. Olivia just smiled, knowing she could finally count on someone. She accepted his help, but insisted on focusing on her own healing first. Alex agreed that was the right move. Then, with a bit of a blush, she suggested they grab real coffee together once she found herself again. Not hospital coffee, but the good stuff. Alex beamed at the idea. They agreed it would not be a date, at least not yet. 6 months passed in a blur of activity. The guest house went from a temporary shelter to a true home. The twins, Lily and Noah, were growing fast and getting into everything. Olivia stayed busy balancing her college papers with the daily chaos of raising 2 active toddlers. It was hard work, but for the first time, it was her life. Alex became an expert at building nursery furniture and soothing teething babies through the night. He learned all the little tricks of parenthood. One chilly October night, they sat on the deck under the stars. Olivia had something heavy on her mind. She pointed out that the twins barely knew their biological father, Ryan. He had basically disappeared after a few visits. But they knew Alex. They looked to him for everything. Alex felt a lump in his throat as she spoke. She told him how the kids ran to him the moment he walked through the door. To them, he was the only father figure they had ever known. She explained how the kids called for him at night, and how Noah loved sleeping on his shoulder. In their eyes, he was already their dad. Alex was visibly moved by her words. Olivia made it clear she was not trying to erase the past or pretend Ryan did not exist. She was thankful for the children he gave her. However, she wanted their legal status to reflect the love they felt every day. She took a massive leap of faith and asked Alex if he would be willing to officially adopt them. She wanted him to be their father on paper, just as he was in his heart. Alex sat in stunned silence for a moment before gently reaching out to take her hand. Alex admitted that this past year had been the best time of his life. Even with all his professional success, nothing compared to the simple joy of reading bedtime stories or seeing the twins' faces light up when he arrived. He let a tear fall, unashamed of his emotions. He told her he loved the kids and he loved her too. Without hesitation, he said he would be honored to become their legal father. Olivia felt a surge of pure joy. Then, Alex suddenly stood up, pacing the deck with nervous energy. He stopped, turned back to her, and dropped down to one knee. Olivia's heart skipped a beat as she realized what was about to happen next. Alex pulled out a small box and told Olivia how she inspired him to be a better man. He was not promising a perfect life, but he promised to always show up for her and the children, no matter how hard things got. He opened the box to reveal a beautiful ring and asked her to marry him. Olivia's mind flashed back to her darkest moments, like being alone on that bathroom floor. She compared that pain to the incredible kindness Alex had shown her since the day they met. She thought about how he truly listened and cared for her family. This was the man who had truly stayed by her side when she needed it most. She said yes through tears of pure happiness. He slipped the ring on her finger, and they shared a beautiful kiss. Just then, one of the babies started crying inside, breaking the romantic moment. Alex laughed, noting that their duty was calling. Olivia joked about the realities of parenthood, but Alex insisted it was the best job he ever had. Fast forward 18 months, and their home in Sausalito was full of life and happy messes. Noah was sitting in his hutch, covered in syrup and shouting for more pancakes. Alex was at the stove, calmly flipping breakfast while reminding the little guy to use his indoor voice. It was a picture of domestic bliss. Noah remembered his manners and said, "Please." Lily proudly showed off a new drawing of their family. Olivia, now 7 months pregnant, looked at the colorful stick figures. Lily explained that the drawing included Mommy, Daddy, the twins, and even the new baby in her belly. Olivia joked that they were going to need a much bigger refrigerator to hold all this art. Their kitchen door was already covered in crayon drawings and ultrasound photos, marking the milestones of their growing family. It was a beautiful, messy gallery of their new life together. Every piece of paper represented a moment of joy and a promise of a future filled with love and laughter. Alex served her breakfast and checked in on the baby. They were naming their daughter Megan, after the doctor who had saved Olivia during her crisis. Olivia joked that the baby was already a little athlete given all the kicking. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Alex returned with a formal envelope from the courthouse. Olivia felt a rush of nerves as she took the papers from him. Her hands shook while she opened the envelope and began to read. As her eyes raced across the legal text, her expression shifted from anxiety to pure shock. She could hardly believe what she was seeing on the page. This was the moment they had been waiting for after so many months. Alex was dying to know what the papers said. Olivia told him through happy tears that the adoption was officially final. He was now the legal father of both Lily and Noah. Alex was overcome with emotion as he grabbed the kids and held them tight. The children were thrilled, though Lily noticed her dad was crying. He explained that these were happy tears, something Lily took very seriously. Olivia joined them, feeling the warmth and unity of their family. They were finally a complete unit in the eyes of the law. This was the happy ending she had once thought was impossible. They were a family, bound not just by blood, but by choice and commitment. A wedding photo hung on their wall, showing a day of pure joy and laughter in their backyard. A plaque beneath it reminded everyone that family is about who shows up, not just blood relations. Looking at her husband and children, Olivia felt a deep sense of peace. She thought about how far she had come from that lonely, terrifying night on the bathroom floor. Back then, the man who was supposed to care for her had ignored her pleas for help. Now, she was surrounded by genuine love and support. The contrast was incredible. She was no longer a victim, but a woman who had built a beautiful life from the ashes of her past. Now, her life was filled with sunlit mornings and the happy chaos of children. Alex was a man who stayed through every challenge, from late-night fevers to the simplest daily chores. While Ryan had given her children, Alex had given them a true father and given her a real partner. He was not perfect, but he chose her every single day. Olivia had learned a vital lesson. You cannot force someone to care by shrinking yourself. Being busy is often just an excuse for not making someone a priority. The only thing you can control is choosing your own worth. When you finally choose yourself, you open the door for people who will truly value you. Choosing herself changed everything and brought the right people into her life. These were the people who listened and stayed by her side during her darkest hours. Olivia hugged her family close, feeling completely at home. When Noah asked for more pancakes, Alex was already on it, ready to serve his family. Olivia realized that a real happy ending is not a fairy tale. It is found in the messy reality of daily life, the dirty dishes, the scattered toys, and having a partner who does the work with you. True love is showing up every day. If this story touched your heart, remember to value yourself first. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Olivia decided this was so much better than any fairy tale. Her story is not about some billionaire saving a damsel in distress. It is about a woman who was slowly dying in a life she was told to be grateful for, and who finally chose to live a different one instead. It is about calling emotional abuse what it is, even when you cannot see the bruises on the skin. It is about the terrifying, freeing choice to walk away from someone who keeps choosing everything else over you. Most of all, it is about that quiet, powerful love that proves itself not with big speeches, but with small, consistent acts. Like picking up the phone, showing up at the hospital, or rocking a baby at 3 in the morning. It is about just listening when you say something is wrong and truly believing you. Family is not always made of blood. Sometimes it is the people who see you at your absolute worst and decide to stay anyway. If Olivia's journey made your heart pound and finally find some peace, I would love for you to share this story with someone who needs to hear they are not asking too much for wanting real love. Save this video to come back to on the days you need a little more courage to choose yourself. Please subscribe and follow if you enjoy long, emotional stories about heartbreak, healing, and getting a second chance. Tell me which moment hit you the hardest. Olivia on the bathroom floor, the hospital, the courthouse papers, or the pancakes in that messy kitchen. Let me know in the comments. I read them all. About 30 minutes ago, I was going to say something, but I think I got it out of my system. It has been a great experience. I really do not know about coffee. First of all, it is freaking delicious. But I am starting to wonder. You know, it dries you out and makes your digestion feel like passing lava rocks unless you are chugging a gallon of water every single day. It tricks you into feeling like you are not tired, but it messes up your brain. Some say it leads to things like Alzheimer's and dementia. But then you see all these other studies that say a cup of coffee a day is actually good for you. Who are you supposed to believe? Somebody sent me a video of a total clown on Instagram talking about how to handle it.